Alprofit.
And this is Night Train 357.
And this is Trolling for Friends,
where we take the
online rage
offline.
Episode Fizzy.
Episode 4.
Yeah, we
Quattro.
back at it.
Oh man, I'm loving this so far. I'm loving the energy.
No doubt.
We're getting the hang of this. Thank y'all for listening. We really appreciate it.
Just getting the hang of this shit. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So how was your week?
Week was great. I had a long week.
I had a busy one. I had positive things happen to me, but I had a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, first, so what happened?
For me, so music, rap, rippity raps. I did 2 shows.
Okay.
I did one at Spacey Lounge in Adams Morgan.
Right.
And then randomly, before that show, I got a call to do 8th Street Festival.
Dope.
That was a lot of fun.
Dope.
That was a lot of work, but a lot of fun.
We did Trap Rock. We did at 8th Street last year.
Yeah, that joint was insane. I will say that shout out to my DJ Teach, and ADST. He backed me up because usually I rap with Ron. He was my hype man, and I mean, not only was he my hype man, but apparently he was my bodyguard because some crackheads or some trying to bum the brush the stage.
Yes, they do.
Like first, there was a drag queen that came on before me, and this woman had 2 wallets for breastises, and she got up and she did not wear a bra. And her sucker, them joints were flying all over the place. And security got rid of them. And then when I got up on stage, somebody just like Rufus, he looked like Fred Sanford's broke cousin. And he was just like Seamus McNasty. And he was like, hey man, can I get on the set? And I was doing my song and ADST was hype manning me, and he quietly escorted this motherfucker off the stage. It was art. It was beautiful. I was like,
always, man. I swear, every time I do something at the Rock and Roll Hotel, or even at the 8th Street Festival, somebody hops on the stage that we don't know, and want to just stay on the stage until we gotta rudely say, yo, you got to go.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I believe in branding. Everyone should have the same T-shirt on.
Right.
Like Trap Rock always got the same T-shirt on, so you know who the staff is.
Yeah.
And the Panda, so I do appreciate that.
No doubt. Shout out to the Panda. We shooting a video today. They went to Richmond to shoot a video.
I heard it was the best video
to Ethan Spalding.
We will have a link. We'll have a link in the shows.
Yes.
For that.
Absolutely. My week.
Yeah.
My week was good, bad, and ugly at the same time.
It was a Clint Eastwood movie.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened?
First I want to say rest in peace to my, I want to call her my aunt, but she is my mother's godmother. So she's more like my god grandmother, but at the same time, we're gonna say my aunt, right? My aunt Gaga. She passed away. She was like 90 years old. You know what I mean? And strong black woman. I remember a lot of things about Gaga. I remember her Siamese cat. I remember, she had a lot of, in the 70s and the 80s, man. In the early 70s, me and my cousin Bay and Torrey, rest in peace, Torrey, used to get our ass whooped with the switch. Go get a switch.
We always remember the ass whooping.
Go get a switch.
I have very vivid ass whooping memories.
Yeah. Oh, they don't beat kids like that anymore.
Yeah. Kids these days, that's one other.
Get their ass.
That's another episode.
We used to get. But anyway, other than that, and then she had 3 funerals. She had a funeral in Pennsylvania, a funeral in New York City, and one in Norfolk. We drove down to Norfolk to actually.
Well, that's a blessing, man. You said she passed away. She was 90.
She was like above 90, yeah.
That's still a blessing. That's like and she had more. She had as many funerals as James Brown.
Yo, she
that's a blessing.
Went on a war tour. She went on a war tour. And then rest in peace Gaga. But then one more story. I was at McDonald's yesterday with LD, and we went to get some breakfast, and I'm at the counter. There's a long line, and we got to the counter, and after waiting like 15 minutes in this long line, we finally got to the counter, and it was somebody that just came in. I don't know, I caught eye contact with her. Maybe that's why she did it.
Right. Never capture eye contact with anybody at a McDonald's. I don't nod at you. I look into space because I feel where this is going already.
And it was a pretty decent McDonald's. It wasn't like this a shitty whole McDonald's like on like Minnesota Avenue type. You know, it was a McDonald's that was okay, right? And get to the line, and before I'm about to order, she goes, "Excuse me," has a $5 bill in her hand. Goes, "Can you order me an egg, cheese, and whatever?" I'm like, "What?" In my head, I said, "What?"
Right.
I wanted to like.
No. I know what I got.
I wanted to say, "Get the fuck out of here! Are you crazy? It's a line, bitch." But in my head, I wanted to say that, but I didn't. So I took her money. I paid for the thing, and
you know what it is? It's like a trolling moment, but not a trolling moment.
I wanted to troll her so bad.
It's a it was calculated. So your mind, but you ever seen Terminator? When the Terminator is like processing whether or not you want to terminate somebody or not, like you're in your head, you're weighing the pros and cons. When stuff like that happens, it's so random. You're like, what? Like, because you're not in that mindset. You're guarded.
I felt so bad because everybody stayed in line. We had formed relationships on the line that were on the line so long.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was dude behind me. I looked behind him, was like, "Yo, pardon me, bro." He was like, "Nah, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
But I handed her a change. It was like $2.35, and she was like, "Dad, keep the change."
Well, that's really nice of her. That's what a sweet.
Are you kidding me?
Gesture, yeah.
Get the fuck. I don't want your fucking change. I said that in my head again. But I was so graciously nice, and I said, "Don't worry about it." I kept it.
That's a nigga moment. Like the Boondocks, they're about to have a new season.
I wanted to do it so bad.
Yeah, that's a nigga moment. That's what. Yeah. So. Wow. Okay.
Right.
Oh, really quick note before we go on to what I want to hear trolling news. Mm-hmm. But real quick note, I want to also mention once again, I do have a show at the Rock and Roll Hotel. October 4th. Alison Blanc, 1800 Ranchetta. He just did a show.
Okay.
Reggaeton guy, and New Choice.
Ooh, I know that guy.
R&B cat.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Original music, couple covers.
Right.
It's gonna be a sexy R&B night.
Right.
And then the Ronin Train, two fat dudes.
Now y'all got some good R&B joints.
Yeah, I can carry a note.
Before I go into the first topic, I want to talk about what we're talking about tonight. We're going to talk about. First, I want to troll news with me. I'm gonna troll some news. I got some stuff that I did on Facebook and Instagram, social media that was trolling. Then we're gonna talk about the Ukraine whistleblower. You heard about that?
Yeah.
Right?
That was crazy.
Then we're gonna talk about T.I. and Candace Owens. You know what I'm saying? That.
Oh God, yeah. We're gonna go.
That slore. And then we're gonna talk about
rage.
Rage with real. We're gonna take some online rage offline with Rant
some real N-word
about real niggas.
Yeah, and we're gonna bleed into our big story, which is about sing sweet nightingale, sing sweet nightingale. Oh.
We're gonna talk about your man Tekashi 6ix9ine, as they call him, Tekashi Snitch 9, aka Rat, aka Sammy the Bull, aka Danny Brasco,
aka when keeping it real goes wrong.
Yeah, man.
That's why I brought up the real.
AKA I'm telling.
Because we gotta talk about that.
This nigga. Alright, but let's go on to trolling news.
Alright.
I posted something on Facebook the other day, and I got a troll.
Place for friends.
And I trolled back. So I got about 1,000 real friends on Facebook.
Right.
The other 1,500 friends are just fans and followers and things of that nature. So this person that I posted a post about this bohemian self-hating Negro. Did you see this old lady that was?
Yeah, you tagged me on it.
Yeah, I tagged you guys. I tagged you guys. I try my best to every time I have some troll shit going on, to tag you guys.
That way we're aware of it. Really, I'm looking at it for the topic. Right. I need to get familiar with it.
So this lady, she's like 90 years old, and she's from the Bahamas, and she was, self-hating other Negroes, live on camera, saying, apparently, you know how Haitian, I don't know if you know, but Haitian refugees, You know, it was a time in the 90s and that Haitian refugees were taking boats and rafts.
Right, they were really trying to get out of that.
From Haiti to United States to Florida. And when I was in the Navy, I actually used to be on humanitarian missions doing that. I got a ribbon for that. And I mean, that's something we did. And on top of that, my best friend is Haitian. You know what I'm saying? So I'm an honorary Haitian. You know what I mean? I'm from South Jamaica.
I have a good singer friend.
You know what I mean?
Shout out to Muriel Jean-Pierre. Did you say Jean-Pierre?
Jean-Pierre.
Because it's the French.
Yeah, because the French perpetuated the slave trade on that side of the Caribbean. But anyway, this English slave from the Bahamas, maybe it was Swedish, I'm not sure, but they were hating on this Haitian refugees that were, I guess,
slaves. What did Kill Mike say? We'll talk about it later. But slaves arguing over who has the best master. Yeah,
this is some dumb shit. She's like, anytime you see a Haitian I tell my Coast Guard, anytime they see a Haitian in the water to drown
in the water. That's a good impersonation. In the water
to drown them. Man, who the fuck? Get the fuck out of here. Why are you hating another black person? First of all, don't hate another person. Let's not hate another person.
Yeah, but then they hate another black person.
Because that is, you don't understand, that's like what the slave master wanted
it's
you
classism,
to do.
It's classism along with racism, along with all the isms. It's like, can't we all just get along? Like, I feel like that's so cliche, but it's like really true.
So moving along, as when I posted it, I got a couple of hits, and then one of my friends that I went to high school with, I actually know him. He hopped on my post, and I don't know, I guess he was trying to give me some knowledge or something, and he was
Black
guy. Huh?
Black guy.
Definitely black. Okay. Definitely black. He hops on and goes, self-hatred. He was like agreeing with me, right? So he was like self-hatred. And I was like, okay. Then he follows it up by saying, like, we had this in us before the Albion was created. He lost me with that.
The Albion.
I was like, Albion. I'm a sci-fi nerd, so I'm like, what is he talking about? Like, are they from the Delta Beta Quadrant? Are they from the,
the Andorians, the little...
Yeah, I don't know. I got to my Trekkie, went to my Trekkie in my brain.
Ferengi. So he passed away from Star Trek.
Yeah.
We're
going to talk about my man, my Ferengi brother that passed away today.
Prophet.
Today. From Star Trek, you know what I mean? He was an actor. But anyway, he gets on. First of all, I had to look up Albion. I didn't know what the fuck that was. I looked with the Google. I was like, let me find out what I found out what it is. It's another word for European, I guess.
Okay.
Celts and
right.
It's a real ancient language, right? So
like the more you hear it, the more it sounds like albino.
Because he considers himself a Moor.
Like Othello. Like a Moor.
Right.
It was a racial slur. It was like, there's a way to describe black people as Moor.
In the Middle Ages,
I'll take that over
the way to describe a black person, you called him a Moor. That's like saying nigger. You know what I'm saying?
It
was kind of like saying that. I'm well read, and especially in the Renaissance time. It was, they used to say, call you a Moor.
Like, thou shalt call us thine racial slur.
But anyway, and I understand the history of the Moors. But anyway, he kind of like, not only give me some fairy tale shit. I knew where he was going with the shit, right? So I tried to set him up with the question.
As you're telling me this story, I'm hearing a very Tolkien like British accent. It's like, yes, see, Albanians,
right? Like, no, he said Albions, the Albions. So I'm like, okay. Looked it up, found what it was. So now I set him up the question: who created the Albion, and didn't they evolve? So I knew he was gonna go with this.
You're feeding him.
I knew he was gonna go with
this.
You're
fucking with him.
Black man created the white man in the Caucasus Mountains. I knew he was gonna go with that. I knew it. So I set him up. He came right back. He said, yes, the Asiatics, yes, they evolved. This is what I'm constantly trying to get us to see. We created the Albion with a grafting experiment.
Ancient aliens.
First of all,
Area 51.
First of all, during that time in history, nobody knew how to graft DNA. Shut the fuck up.
Yes, they did.
I don't agree.
They totally did.
No, I don't know.
They totally did.
No.
And it was discovered at Area 51. The Illuminati totally did that. Do you know that I have a problem with conspiracies? I feel like conspiracies are designed for people who don't want to read a book. Like, it's like sometimes they get so Pizzagate. You get so convoluted with your back. Like, people don't know the real story. Does the real story paying my bills? No. It's just...
And listen to how he followed it up.
Oh, my God.
We created the Albion with a grafting experiment. They are actually mixed with the DNA of a chimpanzee. We created them and then enslaved them.
What the hell?
The karmic debt to enslaving a human being. First of all, his grammar is all wrong. Right?
No, his grammar is right. He's doing the real grammar, and we've been doing wrong.
Okay. Being is that the Albion evolved and then enslaved us. This is the part of the history. He said his story. Spelled H-I-S.
Albion terrorists.
Where we chime in at the slave ship BS. The slave ship BS, like slave ships was bullshit. Like slave key door.
At least you put a period in between the B and the S.
The Albions were set to rule for 2,000 years.
They were set to rule for Can I read it like? Wait, can I?
Yes.
I gotta reach the laptop.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna read it like the narrator from Transformers.
Yes, read that shit.
So, set the rule for 2,000 years, but that is over now. It's time for the heirs of the world's largest estate to wake up. And you can research the Yakub experiments that will explain their creation.
Yes. So
Radar starts
those who don't know
Friday.
Those who don't know, really extreme black people call white people Yakub. Really extreme.
I must not be black enough because I've never heard of Yakub.
Extreme.
Some of my best friends are Yakub.
Right. So listen, man. I listen. People be like, "Oh, Al, you be racist. You be." I don't be racist. Listen, I go after. I don't care who you are.
You go after assholes.
You're an asshole.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what color you are.
It's because
I'm a smash you.
It's know-it-alls. I don't like take a step back and understand that you don't know everything. Do a little bit of research. It's a shame, but yes, there are more people who would rather have the Bible preached to them than read it themselves.
Right.
This is the world we live in.
So one thing I hate is when somebody comes at me and tells me to wake up. Like I was born woke.
Oh,
Right? I'm a Black Panther cub, bro. The training that I got from birth is different than any other training y'all ever heard. Y'all just reading about the shit that I already been trained on. So don't fucking tell me to wake up. I've been awake.
It's like that scene in remember Will Smith? No, it was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like the first pilot episode or something like that, and Uncle Phil was like, you got a picture of Malcolm X on your wall. I heard him speak.
Right.
Because, he was talking about how he had lost himself and recognized real.
Mm-hmm.
No. It's like, if people stopped assuming shit, we would get a lot more done. That's the point of that. It's like if people just, you're woke, you know enough. I don't know.
So I responded by saying, nigga. That's what I said. I said, nigga. I knew you were going to go there with that fairy tale Yakub story.
Oh, man, the Yakubs.
First of all,
shout out to my Yakubs out there.
Yeah, there's a fairy tale Yakub story. First of all, I was born woke. I keep telling you, brand new woke brothers and sisters, I am a Black Panther cub. So stop telling me to wake up because I don't believe that dumbass story about Yakub in the Caucasus Mountains. Laughing out loud.
I'm blackity, black.
Right. The sun and lack of sun is what is responsible for complexion and race. Also, the region of the world and historical diet. not some fairy tale experiment about Yaku.
Did you science this motherfucker? Did you just science this motherfucker? Is he in Area 51 right now? Is he running like Naruto down the desert trying to... Did they find the aliens? Because I don't remember. Did they find them?
At this point is when
we're gonna get our producer.
I tagged you guys. I said y'all got to see this shit. I put the point up, the goddamn point up emojis, and look at what's going on. And I tagged you guys.
You tagged us,
the whole staff.
Yeah.
Right. And then he comes back and goes, trolling with a question mark. You want to read that in the
trolling. You got me rolling, bruh. Again. I'm in this platform to share, agree, and disagree. If you're a Black Panther club, all caps, exclamation point, cub, that's beautiful. I know you're strong. But again, this is not an attack on you. Keep your beliefs. And it keeps going on and on and on. Oh my God.
If you want to identify yourself as a crayon, then that's you. They have a census coming out in 2020. Here comes the conspiracy theory.
Okay.
They have a census coming out in 2020.
Right.
Starting, if you identify yourself as black, you have to prove where that is, and you have to have, it has to have a flag.
Oh my God.
Like in the census, if I check black, they gotta say you gotta prove what black is.
For people,
and they gotta have a flag associated with black.
For people who don't watching the video, I'm rolling my eyes like the Robert Downey Jr. meme.
What's wrong with these niggas, man? I don't understand these niggas, man. I know we going over time, but Lord have mercy.
Lord, yeah, let's go.
Wait,
one more thing. Conspiracy people, y'all need to come. I want to talk about this later about conspiracies. We need to have this at another show. We will talk in depth about this conspiracy, because it's one thing to be woke and be aware of your surroundings and understand what's going on. It's another thing to the same nonsense that they're spewing on the left, they're spewing on the right, but in reverse. It's ridiculous, and it's like, guys, let's. One time I hit this one guy, right, and he was a Trump supporter, and he was my Uber driver, and somehow we talked about politics, and I was really, really cool with him because I didn't talk about how I thought everything he was talking about was stupid. I was very proud of myself. And I was like, look, just give me my grandma's house and we'll be good. He starts talking about how he thinks Trump is going to finally reveal the aliens, and I didn't disagree with him. I said, look, even if Trump finds these so-called aliens, let me ask you a question, bro. You still gonna pay your taxes, right? What does that change? My problem with conspiracies has always been, so what? Okay, so you know what you should have been like? You've been like, oh man, you just blew my mind. That changes my whole perspective about things. Revolution starts and, oh, that's right, it won't be televised. No, nothing fucking changes. It doesn't matter. Just, ugh.
And we are back.
Yeah, man, Ukraine. The Ukraine whistleblower, that's the next subject.
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
Well, you listen, man, I am a layman.
Right.
You probably never hear me use the term or the word Ukraine, but we're going to talk about this whistleblower. There's a lot of whistleblowers going on in this episode.
Yeah, but this whistleblower might actually, this might be something important.
It's the difference between whistleblower, snitch, and witness. We're going to talk about that later on.
Okay. Right? So, read what you know about the Ukraine whistleblower. I actually don't know much about it. I know that Trump's involved. I know that Biden's involved because, spoiler alert, he's the front runner right now. And I also know that Vladimir Putin is involved.
All right, so this is the crux of the story.
Okay.
Apparently, Donald Trump has been pressuring the Ukraine's leaders to investigate Joe Biden for something he did back when he was the vice president with
so
Obama.
He's already digging dirt on Joe Biden.
Apparently, he was involved in firing getting someone fired, getting a district attorney fired in the Ukraine but the Ukraine, I think the UN wanted to fire him. It was like a unanimous situation where they wanted to get rid of this guy.
Okay.
Joe Biden just made it happen.
Okay,
right?
It's a done deal.
Right. So
it's like a lukewarm scandal.
Right, but
it's like, hey, we all don't want Bob, so we're
he was apparently he was doing something. He was corrupt or something, and they wanted him gone, and they had needed Biden helps, and Biden helped out and did it right. So now Trump is pressuring the Ukraine to investigate or actually pull up some dirt on Biden. From that situation, because Biden's son was supposedly under investigation about some Ukrainian company he was dealing with at that time. But apparently the investigation had already been over by the time the dude got fired.
Okay.
The guy was the prosecutor at the time.
Okay, so this is really stretching though.
Yeah, right. So what happened is the whole crux of it is that Trump wants the investigation to go on.
Right, duh. It's one additional thing to, our front runner, Joe Biden, to, have to deal with. Right,
but the investigation is not going on. So they're pressuring him and saying, if you don't conduct this investigation, we are going to withhold funds that Congress already allocated to the Ukraine,
for protection of,
to buy military equipment, to defend themselves against Russia. So when you look at the whole story, it's pretty much saying that if you don't investigate,
Biden, then I'll stick my boyfriend on you.
Basically,
we're totally like BFFs, and it's great. So you know what it is. I don't have anything to say about this topic. Because it's just another ploy by the current administration to
fucking crazy.
And it's like, and the real case is shout out to whoever this whistleblower is for bringing this to national attention.
But this is what he does, though.
Oh, Mr.
He meddles. He uses other countries to meddle in our election.
He's got us talking about it, and we're forgetting about the grand illusion, which is, that's not going to deviate from. And I hope all listeners listening to this podcast, you go out and you vote, you go out and you protest. Shout out to the kids protesting for climate change. But don't be fooled by the okie doke, because I don't give a damn about, I don't know, the Big Lebowski or whoever the hell he was up on the hill with this impeachment nonsense.
Right.
It's not nonsense. I'm saying that he was not nonsensical, but we need to keep our eyes on the prize. And I don't give a damn what this one issue in Ukraine happened as it referenced to Joe Biden. I am still voting for maybe Kamala, maybe somebody else, but I am still voting Democrat. There's nothing that's going to stop me. You're going to have to put a gun to my head and even still, I'll probably do absentee ballot. So I don't know what to say about this other than, it's, Putin's bitch doing this shit all over again.
Right.
Ain't nothing new.
Yeah, Russian election meddling. Now it's Ukraine. They want Ukraine to do it now. So, but anyway, we're gonna go to our sponsors. You know how we are. If you've been watching our show, you know that we are sponsored by Shooters Apparel,
DMV's very own.
Right, and I want to give a special shout out because they just closed a deal with Shoe City to have some of their apparel. Now, Shooters is already infamously known to have their own stores and things of that nature. They have their own store. So now they just actually closed a deal to have Shoe City have some of their apparel inside their stores.
Talk to us, man. We love y'all.
Yeah, we love Shooters, man.
Shooters.
Go to the commercial.
All right.
DC vibe, baby. Shooters. Your city, my city. Shooters. Our city, Shoe City. Shooters. Select Shoe Cities are now carrying Shooter Sports apparel. Shooter Sports, repping our city since 1997.
Welcome back.
All right.
Welcome back.
Trolling for Friends.
Trolling for Friends, episode 4.
Let's jump right into it so we can get to the big stuff. All right. T.I., Candace Owens, and Killer Mike.
Yeah, there was some sort of panel that was going on.
It was a Revolt summit.
Okay.
It was a Revolt. What was it? It was. Let me see. Yeah, it was a Revolt summit. They were talking about, Trump and, politics and, the yays and nays of what's going on. I love what T.I. said. His quote was, a lot of rhetoric that she spews is dangerous, talking about Candace Owens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a self-hating Negro.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's be real. And, he was very diplomatic in what I saw and what I read. It was basically about, how, a lot of things you say are dangerous. He was trying to say, he didn't say what you just said.
Right.
But it was definitely like that air. And, it was
right,
like, no disrespect, but you hating ass nigga.
Another thing, though, some cats just need to stay in their lane. As much as I love T.I., and as much as he got knowledge of self, and as much as he's
more woke than that guy earlier.
No, he's super woke, and he's a gangster. I'm not trying to take nothing from him, but what I'm saying is Candace Owens is well read and a very good debater. So I don't know if I want to face up against Candace Owens.
That makes things difficult, right? Because it's like you got the street dude. I honestly really respect.
Because I think she kind of made him look angry.
Oh yeah, articulate.
She made him look angry, like the angry black guy, and he may have been angry. Because I know I'd have been like,
well, it's frustrating.
But she's a very good debater. Killer Mike was better at handling her than T.I. was.
Yeah, I will give it up to Killer Mike. So my friends started passing that thing on around, like in a group text, and my music buddies, and I have a thing about Killer Mike. So I love Killer Mike. I love his music.
Right.
But that does not change the fact that, a lot of what Killer Mike was talking about was self-governance.
Right.
And I'm all for self-governance.
Right.
But the reality is a lot of people really aren't. And, one thing I have to say to that, he's never going to hear this episode. Maybe he will, who knows. But it's like, Killer Mike. Bruh, half the books that you listed in your rant, no one's going to read.
He's an HBCU grad, by the way. Just want to let you know.
Huh?
He's an HBCU grad, by the way. Just I love my HBCU.
And I love him.
Norfolk State. You have.
It was like right after Hillary Clinton won a nomination for whatever fucked up reason.
He's a Bernie guy, though. I really hated the way he kind of
he handled it terribly.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
And my concern.
He might be one of the main reasons why Trump is the president right now. We're gonna chop that up. We're gonna chop that up and keep it in there. I mean, I don't got too much to say about her. She's a self-hating Negro.
My issue's not with Candace. I said my issue with Mike is, like he said, Bernie and the whole, he's an advocate for Bernie Sanders. He's also an advocate. I got a different kind of perspective on it because my upbringing. I'm a millennial. Mm-hmm. My upbringing is different than the DMV. I'm in a melting pot. I respect, I love, and I'm part of black culture. I come from one of the most successful black counties in the entire country.
PG, that is.
PG.
Right.
But with that said, I also appreciate...
Queens County is actually, you got some black communities in Queens County that's strong too, but really go ahead, let's go.
Well, I'm in a place where we're in a melting pot. DMV, the DC metro area is a melting pot, and I appreciate that diversity.
Right.
And he's from Atlanta.
Right.
And the thing about Atlanta is it has a very strong suburban black community. And so a lot of his rants are usually from a reference of the black community. Now, this is the part where I deviate from the rest of the black experience. I think that there are a lot of people that are fucked up.
Right.
There's a lot of shit going on in the world. And so my concern is everything he says is absolutely right, up to the point where he believes that if it does not help black culture, and this conversation was not helping black culture, if it does not help black culture, then it needs to be burned to the ground.
Right.
My issue with that is, if you are anybody else, that your voice still matters, and some people need a voice for them because everybody is not as self-reflective as Killer Mike is. And so when I have this problem that people are going to listen to what he says, they're going to internalize it, and they're going to make excuses for their lack of inaction in their communities. And their communities are not just black communities in the they be like, well, Killer Mike didn't vote, so I'm not gonna do it.
I'm surprised that Killer Mike allowed Candace to have this platform. Because she's so self-hating.
Yeah.
You know, she reminds me of, there was a scene in Roots. I think it was like the first episode of Roots, the first one.
Right.
We're talking about 1977. Roots, not the one where LeVar Burton was Kunta Kinte. That one, right?
Jordan LaFord.
Right.
Reading Rainbow, yeah.
So, Reading Rainbow. So, he was on, this is when they were on a slave ship, and it was the ship captain.
Right.
He was in his stateroom, and one of his sailors came up and was telling him, you know, giving him the, you know, what happened during the day, X, Y, Z, good night, so and so, right? And then the dude asked him, do you want a belly warmer for the night?
I remember that.
A belly warmer, he was saying basically, do you want me to get one of these nigga slaves to come up so you can get some?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
She's a belly warmer for all of those Republicans that fantasize about African sisters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, well, I hate niggers, but I love Candace.
I love me some Candace Owens. She's pretty too. She's pretty and smart.
I won't if it's her opinion, it's her opinion, but it comes from a place of ignorance. So I don't care.
And she sounds like she hates herself.
Well,
she said some shit let's listen to what she said. I got it in the note right here. She said, white supremacy and white nationalism is not a problem in the United States.
Which United States? Earth 1 or Earth 2? Because that doesn't make any sense.
Basically, so she was saying
create white nationalist problems, the word problem is...
So her argument, she's coming from the standpoint of her argument saying it's a lot of these black conservatives, this is their argument right here.
Right.
And the argument is that, and I got a black conservative that I've been arguing with, that I want to get on the show. He's a troll. I met him out in the street. He's like an army colonel or something like that, right? He's somewhere in Alaska somewhere right now. But he texts me so much from the conversation we had.
We gotta have him on the show.
He wants to come on the show, yes.
But tell me, what's the
So this is their argument. I've heard it before. He says, there's so many other things going on in the black community that's a priority other than white supremacy. White supremacy is way on the bottom of the list.
First of all, fuck you. Second of all,
that's their fucking argument.
Second of all, we gonna walk and chew gum.
Like Chicago, they always go to Chicago. They get killings every day. They shooting everybody every day.
No, Chicago,
black on black.
Shooting everybody every day.
So I got this meme that I post called it's to the Soul Train. It got Soul Train dances to it. And it's like the Coon Train is coming.
Oh yeah.
Coon Train is coming. And it got the voiceovers in the back that goes, what about black on black crime? Where the white woman at? They ain't all white peoples ain't bad.
Oh man. That sounds like Jar Jar Binks. Is we gonna die?
Yeah.
Man, okay, so yeah.
So when our producer sent this segment of lists to us, I looked at it and I was like, dope, okay, I like that my ideas are being kept and stuff like that. But then
that's really what you like.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it gets chopped up. It was like 2 or 3 things in there that I thought was supposed to be in there.
We really sit there and read it. We just not like, yeah.
No. I don't mind. When I saw Real Niggas Rant by Steve, I looked at my wife and I said,
hold up,
I want to hear this Real Niggas Rant by Steve.
Man.
I want to hear what this guy got to say. So, Steve, this segment is dedicated to you. You got to rant on what a real nigga is.
Okay, so this is more. Yeah, I'm ready. Okay. All right, let's go. Get my seat. All right. So, Real Niggas by Night Train 357. So, this is actually an open-ended question. Mm-hmm. This is out for everybody. This is open for discussion. Now, let me start by saying that I'm originally from Prince George's County, which is one of the most successful black counties in the country.
Per capita. Yeah.
Yes, per capita. There's a lot of success stories, and I have a unique perspective from a lot of friends. Now, I'm saying this because this is relevant to the real nigga story.
Okay.
Somewhere along the line, and this is not just related to hip hop, but this is street cred. This is, all sorts of how you talk to people in your own neighborhood. Somehow, we deviated from reality in certain cases, and in certain cases, we let people slide. Now, Al, you'd have a lot of great stories about your real nigga. That's some real shit that happened. Mm-hmm. Some people will fabricate stories. I'm
not the realest nigga in the world.
I'm not at all. Not according to some of the statements that I hear. And it was rough. Growing up
some shit
in the DMV. If you weren't the hardest dude with the baggiest jeans who listened to the hardest hip hop, it's like, man, I don't even like Jay-Z. I like Scarface. Like, if you weren't listening to the toughest shit out there was always a level beneath you, and it's because it was really cliquey. There were a lot of people who, you a nerd, you like Transformers, or you like this, that, and the third, or, I'm very proud of my nerddom because as a man, I've learned that I don't care what everybody says. And that's that real shit.
I'm a nerd. You don't believe me? I tell my wife we go around my way, and I tell her, yo, I was a nerd in high school. She be like, nah, I don't believe you was a nerd. And then we ask somebody, and they go, Alprentice, you were not a nerd. I'm like, I was a nerd. Yes, I was.
Yeah, man, nerds.
In my head, I was a nerd.
We all were. We were insecure. And part of being real for me is acknowledging that and moving forward, because I need to do what I need to survive, to help my friends and my family. And that's really what it is. That's what being real is to me. But somewhere along the lines, it became, it's like, if you're a rapper and you're a correctional officer, you can't be a rapper. Or, I need to go to jail to get street cred. Or I need to, have this fabricated story about how hard I am all the time. And it's like, yo, if that was not your truth. And the where it gets, it's like an open-ended question. I don't really have an answer for this part. But my issue is the crossover between what is reality and what is entertainment.
Right.
And people don't want reality, they want entertainment. Mm-hmm. They want the fake story because it's so much cooler. There was an issue, I think Bree told me about this. There was a BET tried at one point to change their program. Mm-hmm. They want to do something a little more positive for black folks, more uplifting. Ratings sank.
Well, BET started like that. They used to have Teen Summit when it first came out. It was really, really positive. And then my man Bob Johnson sold the joint, and now it's Nigga Town all over that goddamn place.
Yeah, it's a mess. I don't want nothing to do with it, but and I don't know I guess their ratings are doing fine because they keep perpetuating the ignorance. Mm-hmm. But it's exhausting. It's exhausting to fight reality. If you're not the toughest, baddest motherfucker in the world, it's like the guys I listened to and grew up listening to, and my uncles and my music folks and stuff like that, they would say these things, talk about these experiences, and then preface them with saying that I did these things so you don't have to.
Right.
My father grew up in Southeast and moved out. Real DC niggas. Like, what the hell is that? Because you stayed in Southeast? My father, my family made a conscious decision to have a better life, and so they moved to Prince George's County. Right. There's nothing realer than that.
Right. I mean,
mic drop. Because in this where's my mic? Can someone throw me a mic so I can drop it? Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, mic drop. Boom, boom. Mic drop. So nerd. But there is an issue I have with that. It bleeds into our last very hilarious conversation about a certain
Ratatouille.
Ratatouille.
Danny Brasco.
Oh man, sing. Yeah,
we're gonna get into that, but before we do that, when we first started this podcast, anybody who knows me, I have a plethora of life experience and plethora of stories. I'm 40.
This is a great segue into this story, the realness. This is about reality.
Right.
You know, and everybody's truth is different. But
I'm 49 years old, and
that's a lot.
I know I'm a vampire, and it's ironic that I'm about to tell a story about another vampire that I know.
This is gonna be funny.
So I mean, I'm gonna preface this story by saying that I'm gonna tell a story about a friend of mine.
Right.
And I use the term loosely because I haven't seen him in 15. I haven't seen him in 15 years. Right? Nah, we haven't talked in a long time. But when we see each other, it's straight love. You know what I mean? Last time I saw him was at 2003 Source Awards. We kicked it. We chilled. But I want to tell a story. It's a real life, real nigga story about me and my time when I was in college with the super producer, internationally known Pharrell Williams. Yeah. Story time with Alprofit. Funny story about Pharrell Williams, super producer, internationally known Pharrell Williams. I met Pharrell in 1993 in Norfolk, Virginia, at a barbershop called Capital Cuts. If you're from Norfolk or you went to Norfolk State, you know about Capital Cuts. That's on Corporate Avenue across the street from Norfolk State in the 7-Eleven shopping center. Pharrell and I became cool. I met him through a barber by the name of Cam, which was close to Pharrell. Me and Pharrell started to hang out. I don't know how we started to hang out, but it started to be like an everyday kind of thing. I had a motorcycle at the time. I was into music. He was into music. At that time, I was hanging out with my man Big Bug from Today. I don't know if you remember that group called Today. It was a boy band called Today. They all had, at that time, Pharrell, my other boy named Ty Fife, super producer Ty Fife. He's behind a lot of 90s hip hop. One mic by Nas, and him and Pharrell actually worked on the Rump Shaker song together at Teddy Riley's studio.
I did the Rump Shaker record. I did the record with Teddy Riley. We did that together. I mean, Pharrell Williams, he wrote the rap for Teddy on the record.
A few of those guys, along with Pharrell and my boy Ty Fife, were both producers on the staff of Future recording studio, which was owned by Teddy Riley at the time in Virginia Beach. So me and Pharrell started to hang out, and he would hit me. At that time we had no cell phones or beeps. He would beat me and be like, "Yo, he didn't have a ride. He'd beat me, come scoop him, whatever." I come scoop him on my bike. I had a Katana 600 at the time. I would scoop him. We would ride out to Chad's house, listen to some beats. Chad lived at his parents' house at the time, and they made a lot of their music. The Neptunes made a lot of their music in Chad's attic. They had these glow-in-the-dark stars and moons all over the ceiling at the time. At that time, they were definitely ahead of their time on some weird nerd hip-hop shit, right? Me and Pharrell started to hang out a lot, and then come to find out, Pharrell was dating my homeboy's sister. My homeboy I played baseball with in high school from Queens, and his sister went to Norfolk State, and Pharrell was dating her at the time. So I was also hustling and getting money at the time. I was doing a lot of shit. Me and my team, we had these calicos. They were some submachine guns at the time, right? I lent it to my boy. He's from New York, and he went to New York and never came back. We were calling him, and he never answered the phone. We're like, "Yo, what's up with this nigga? Why he not answering the fucking phone and shit?" One day, my man, I ain't gonna mention no name, my other man was like, "Yo, man, let's go see this nigga, man." So I called around the hood. From Norfolk, I called to New York. I was like, "Yo, you know this cat?" And they was like, "Yeah, I know this cat. We call him Big Head so-and-so." I'm not gonna name his name, but his nickname was Big Head something, right? And we was like, no disrespect to him now, I'm cool with him now and cool with his family and all that. But at the time, we was really in this game deep. The game take you a lot of places, right? Dude was like, yeah, I know big head so-and-so. He pussy. And I was like, oh, word? But I had already peeped he was trying to get money in a game that he wasn't used to. Like, he was a kid that was privileged. He had money. Parents had money. Pops died, left him some money. So he was trying to get in the game that way. But at the same time, act extra tough. So we let him in the game a little bit. But then he was really trying to play us, and he wouldn't bring us back out. Guns. So we went to New York. We drove to New York, me and my right-hand man. And before we went to New York, I had Pharrell. I was like, yeah, I'm about to go to New York, you know what I'm saying? And see this nigga, you know what I'm saying? He got our guns and shit. And Pharrell was like, word? He got my cousin Cam clippers. Now, my man Cam, his cousin Cam, was a barber. This is how he made money. He was a civilian. He wasn't even in the game. You know what I mean? He was just a hard-working ass barber nigga that was getting money. And I was cool with the nigga. And I was like, all right, well, all right. And then he was like, yo, I'm going, can I ride with you to New York? I want to go see so-and-so. Shorty, my man's sister. You know where they live? I'm like, yeah, that's my man's. You know what I'm saying? So Pharrell had, at the time, Pharrell had this little hoop. And I don't know if he didn't want to drive it or he just wanted to ride with me. So he hopped in the car with me. We rode, me and my other man, me and Pharrell, we rode. Pulled up, we got to New York. Shorty came out, dropped Pharrell off. Boom. We went on about our business. We was only there for 24 hours. We went directly to the dude's crib and knocked on the door. Big ass house with his moms and all that, and they had a basement. And in the basement, niggas was playing a lot of Madden at the time. It was early Madden. It was like early Madden. And it might have been even Tecmo Bowl, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? And niggas was playing, I knew they were down there playing Tecmo Bowl. So I knocked on the door, and his moms came to the door. And his moms opened the door and was like, how may I help you? And I was like, what's going on? She seen the looks on our faces and shit, right? And she turned around and looked down the stairs and was like, yo, get the gat. I mean, his moms was like, get the gat. And I was like, what? At that time, we wasn't playing no games. Me and my mans, that was my right-hand man with us, we pulled out our shmammies, we pushed his moms to the side, and we walked down the stairs and we pulled out on everybody down there. It was like 12, 13 niggas down there playing Tecmo Bowl, and we had guns out on all of them. We wasn't really there to fuck with nobody else. We ain't have beef with nobody else, but we was making sure that shit was shaky. We told my man, yo, nigga, where's my calicos? That nigga went, he got the shit, he handed it to us. And then I was like, wait a minute. Pharrell told me that Cam, he got Cam clippers too. And I was like, oh, all right, he got Cam clippers. Matter of fact, give me Cam's clippers, too. Hand me them over right now, too. Give me them shits, too. Right? So he went and got Cam's clippers. It was like a barber bag. It had like his main clippers in there, edge ups and all that shit. Grabbed the shit. Still had the guns out on everybody downstairs. After we got everything, I was like, all right, I'm out. Left, went to the crib, chilled. I'm thinking it's over. A few minutes later, this nigga came to the crib with like 5 niggas. Knocked on my door. I ain't think the nigga was about it like that. The nigga came back and knocked on my door. I came outside. I ain't let the nigga come in my crib. I still had this mammy on me. And I came outside, stepped in front of the door, him and his mans in them, and they was like trying to question me. I was like, I just had to let the nigga know, you had my shit, boom, 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 that's my shit, now I got my shit, what? After that, the niggas left, we went and picked up Pharrell, and we drove back to Norfolk. We gave Pharrell Cam's clippers to get back to Cam. And that's my Pharrell story. Peace.
Real recognized real.
That was an ill story, right?
So you telling me so he got the clippers back?
Got the clippers back.
Okay.
Actually, I spoke to Cam about 6 months ago. This is a God honest truth. My boy Mike J. Brown, he used to be the Panda. You guys know Mike J. Brown?
Yeah,
he used to be the Panda for Trap Rock. And he's actually cousins with Cam. He called me. This is kind of crazy. He called me one day and was like, yo, guess where I'm at? I'm like, where? I'm in Virginia Beach. I'm like, okay. Guess who knows you? And I'm like, who? Who I'm with? I'm with Cam. And I'm like, Cam, And I'm thinking in my head, it can't be the same Cam. He's like, yeah, Cam, that knows Pharrell. And I'm like, oh my God, that's my man. That's my cousin. This world is small as shit. So I spoke to Cam over the phone a couple months back, and we kicked it, you know.
Okay.
And I was like, Cam, did you ever get your clippers back? And he was like, Pharrell never gave me my clippers back.
Wow, that's a little extra. Time without. Okay, so last topic, big topic. Oh boy.
We're gonna go right back and right into the snitching.
Because this is when keeping it real goes wrong.
So before we go into, we're gonna talk about Tekashi 6ix9ine and how he was He testified this week. We're gonna listen to a little bit of his testimony.
Excuse me, as I testify. Some things that will not be covered in the testify. I just wanted to bring up a couple of other things that will not be covered in what we're gonna listen to.
Okay.
A couple things to note. He also said that Snoop ain't a real dog. Tricks ain't just for kids.
Right.
He knew about the hit on Mufasa ahead of time.
He been snitching.
Cardi B's real name is Carlos.
Right.
And R. Kelly peed on him too.
Right. He's just snitching on everybody for no reason. I saw a whole bunch of memes about him snitching.
It keeps going on.
It's ridiculous. We could just go. He sneezed to snitch on everybody. But before we even go into snitching, or him snitching,
right.
I want to explain, because I got a lot of people, when I was posting that, I was going to talk about this week, people was like, Alprentice, that's what's wrong with our community, you know, like, we have this thing that we don't like to snitch, and people don't want to tell, they don't want to come forward, I'm like, this is a total difference. Let me tell you the difference, man. It's a difference between snitching, being a witness, right? It's two fucking differences.
Yeah.
Okay? Snitching. Now let's start with a witness. A witness is someone that is a civilian, a regular working 9-to-5 person that's not in the game, that happens to witness a crime.
Right.
Whether it's robbery, rape, murder, burglary, whatever crime it may be. And they tell the police, and they sign an affidavit, and they become a witness
Bing, bang, boom, right.
to a crime.
Right.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with being a witness to a crime. If you have witnessed a crime in the United States of America, I don't care about any other country, in the United States of America, you witness a crime, and it is detrimental for you too.
And a witness is really in danger, you know, because sometimes they're disseminating information that is important.
Sometimes being a witness can be dangerous.
A lot of times.
But I will never shun on someone that is a witness, right? So I saw this interesting clip of Jim Jones, Cam and Dame Dash when they were on Bill O'Reilly. And Bill O'Reilly was talking about snitching. And he was like, so you're not going to snitch on nobody? And Cam is keeping it 100% real. I love my nigga Cam. He's like, I would never snitch on nobody. And then Bill O'Reilly was like, so if there's a rapist that lives next door to you, you're not going to tell there's a rapist next door to you. He was like, I have nothing to do with that. I am not telling on no one. And I can respect cats that's deep in the game that live by the code of no snitching, right? We talking about a witness, someone who is a civilian that's not in the game, that don't know the rules to the game, that don't know nothing about no game. They just a witness to a fucking crime because somebody got hurt,
right?
Monetarily, physically, or whatever, right? You're a witness to a crime. But a snitch is someone who actively is involved in criminal activity. They are knowingly involved in criminal activity.
Yeah.
They were involved in something that hurt somebody monetarily or physically. They knew what the consequences were. But when they got caught, they decided to tell on their friends, their accomplices, their cats that they rode with, their blood brothers. If
you're gonna commit the crime, if you're gonna take it that far,
right?
Don't break the rules.
Right.
There's a code, and it's not. And let me extend that to the corporate world too, because it's like being part of. It's not necessarily about the crime. It's about being a team player.
In the corporate world, it's called whistleblowing.
Whistleblowing.
Okay.
Yeah. Damn, that ties into an earlier.
And I don't mind whistleblowing, because if you're doing a job that you're supposed to be doing and you're being held accountable for,
right,
and somebody else is being held accountable for the same kind of job,
that's your ass on the line.
You're covering your ass.
Yeah.
And you may have to whistleblow on someone. You're not committing a crime with them, so it's not snitching. So let's go into Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Oh, man.
He testified the other day. All right, and we're gonna listen to a little bit of the testimony. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it. He was in there telling on everybody, but we only gonna talk about. We're gonna listen to a few, just a little bit of it, you know, and we're gonna react to.
I like Ratatouille, and I like Rat Trap. I like Rodents. I don't like Tekashi.
And how they did Tekashi 6ix9ine, listen, and they did him dirty the same way they did Sammy the Bull, right?
Right.
So Sammy the Bull was a real gangster nigga. Let's not get the mix. Sammy the Bull killed like 50 motherfuckers. He was Gotti's right hand man killer.
Tekashi 6ix9ine killed his career.
Right. The feds had tapes on Gotti talking dirty about Sammy.
Right.
They let Sammy hear the shit. And Sammy decided, fuck that. This motherfucker talking about me. I'm gonna turn on him. And he snitched.
That's not that's different.
That's dirty.
That was dirty. That was
he still snitched on him. I don't condone it.
You don't condone it, but you don't talk trash about somebody who got dirt on you.
But that's what happened to Tekashi. They did the same thing. The feds let him hear tapes, and plus on top of that, they was already robbing him and kidnapping him and shit like that and extorting him already.
Right.
So
are you defending Tekashi?
I'm not defending nothing no rat ever did.
Okay.
I'm not even defending Sammy the Bull.
Okay.
All right, so let's go. Let's listen to a little bit. Y'all ready?
Right.
DANIEL space HERMANDEZ. Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Okay, so he didn't use any underscores. That's good.
So that's him spelling his name.
Is that his real? I didn't know it was his real name.
Daniel Hernandez.
Okay, so then he should have just said we'll left with that.
And then
my name is Night Train 3 5 7 like the number.
Right. So he had to explain who he was, and then the prosecutor asked him, "Do you go by any other aliases?" And he said Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Okay.
All right. So next.
About the 10th, 11th grade or something like that.
He said the 10th or 11th grade. I don't know if he know what grade he in, bro. I don't. Are you sure he made it to the 10th or 11th grade? I think I remember at what grade I stopped.
He said 10th or 11th.
He might not be able to count.
Again, he's testifying.
You from Queens, right?
No, that motherfucker is not from Queens.
No, I said you were from Queens.
Yeah.
So is it does Brooklyn have a failing education system?
Whole New York City does.
Ooh, okay.
Same way DC does.
I'm not voting for you, buddy.
All right.
When did you start living in federal custody? November 18, 2018. What were you arrested for? Racketeering charges, body crime, shootings, drug issues.
Pause. Happy birthday to me. That's like my birthday.
So he got arrested on.
He got on November 18th.
So remember that date, November 18th.
Yes, I do remember that date.
So November 18th is when he got arrested and charged with a whole bunch of shit, racketeering and shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So the prosecutor goes on.
At some point, did you decide to cooperate with the government? Yes. When did that happen? A day after, November 19th, the day after we were taken down.
Wow. I got a friend's birthday November 19th.
That motherfucker ain't even staying 24 hours in a prison before he decided. It wasn't a prison. It was a jail. It's two different things.
Right, holding cell.
Yeah, jail is this shit that you go downtown Norfolk or downtown Silver Springs.
Right.
Prison is Jessup.
No, that's Shawshank Redemption.
I have a question for you, Al.
What?
Have you ever been in jail?
I have been in jail.
Was the first night scary enough for you to snitch?
I only stayed in there 12 hours. I was gone.
Yeah, I was 12
you're
hours.
shorter than Steve.
Yeah, I was in a holding cell.
But I had numbers on my head. They was trying to give me 3 to 5, and they wanted me to take a plea deal.
Wow.
They was trying to go, and when I say this went on for months, they had witnesses and all that, but apparently the witnesses never came. They didn't have the film that they said they had, the video of the shit and all that. Still try to press me. I'm like, I'm not copping to it. It was some assault too.
I think also a lot of this has to do with knowledge, knowledge of self and knowledge of the justice system. Just read a damn book. Like Tekashi, you didn't. It shows that he wasn't about that life.
Right.
And it's like, bro, if you're doing the things you're doing, if you're objectifying women, if you're talking about gangster stuff, then you got to live the gangster life. And all of this
Did you see when he was
crashing down because he's worried about going to jail.
Did you see when he was on a Breakfast Club and Charlemagne the God? I hate saying Charlemagne the God.
Charlemagne.
He's not righteous. He's not a God body.
Yeah.
He ain't God body.
Charlemagne the faceless.
Charlemagne was saying,
I like Charlemagne.
telling him to take heed, you wildin', all the stuff that you saying, it's gonna come back to you, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, man, I'm gangster, man. He said some shit like, I'm letting my balls hang out. Like, he was saying some real ignorant shit.
Because he's young and he's stupid and he's cocky.
And then
it's all a show, like they said in the like his defense attorney said when he first got when his first court appearance, they were trying to drum up the fact that man, this is all a front and this a game. Look, I ain't never seen. When was the last time you saw Mos Def be gangster?
Listen,
what is it about hip hop?
And that's the difference between. And I hate it when I go this route. I really do.
Let the rage go.
I hate when I say back in the days when we used to do it. I hate that.
Don't say back in the day. Just say I remember when. That could be last week.
So hip hop originally, you couldn't make a record if you didn't rhyme at the parties or the clubs or you didn't know how to do a show.
Right.
And in order for you to be at a party, get the mic at a party or a show or at a club, you had to be well known. You had to have already proven yourself in the streets,
right,
in a cipher, somewhere they had to know that you could rhyme. And it was you were tangible. Everybody knew who you were. So you can't get on the mic and say I'm this, I'm that, unless you were this.
That goes back to the reality. But the issue is not the back in the day. The issue goes back to a deeper problem I have, which is the consumer not wanting reality.
But what I'm saying, my point is nowadays they don't have to go through that process. They skip the steps now.
Yeah.
Now they can pull up their computer and rhyme in their mom's bathroom, get a mic or get a mic from online. Back then they had to have a studio connection, somebody to get you in the studio to rhyme. Now you can just upload your shit right now to YouTube or any goddamn digital.
Say whatever you want to say and claim it's real.
Absolutely.
But I agree that it's easier to get access to that. But I have to again put some of that on the listeners because it's like we need to have a better vetting system to preserve the culture.
Can't blame the listeners. You gotta blame.
I'm not blaming them. I'm saying I'm not
blame the drug dealers too. You can't blame the fiends.
True.
You gotta blame the drug dealers.
Very true.
And the dealers would be the record label.
That is.
Record labels are the
I will
drug
agree
dealers.
with that. But I have an issue with people. I want folks to be a little bit more educated when they're
right. They gotta go to drug rehab, man.
Let's hear some more.
All right, let's go.
Yes. I believe it was 9 counts of racketeering, shootings, and drug distribution.
He don't sound gangster at all.
He sounds scared like a motherfucker on that goddamn stand. He sounds scared as shit.
Let's keep listening.
If he was a racketeering and prostitution, he guilty. You have never heard of any gang? Yes, sir. What was the name of the gang that you remember of?
So this is the part. Okay, when did he start talking about the Bloods and the?
This is it.
Okay.
So apparently they get into the crux of it where they're saying, all right, who is who, where is where, blah blah blah. So he just named the non-trade Bloods.
Okay.
Treyway, Treyway, this Treyway. Blicky with the sticky.
When did you become around, I would say November of 2017. What sorts of things did non-trade members do? We participated in a lot of crimes, robberies, assaults, drugs, sorts of that nature.
Sorts of that nature. Yeah, some
So
drugs.
he was a member for 13 years.
Wow, yeah, that's half his life. That's half his life.
What did he say? It was 2008? What he got?
No.
He said 2003 or something.
2003.
He said 2003?
Yeah.
I think 2002, something like that.
Let's bring that back.
Wait.
Bring it back.
We participated around, I would say November of 2017.
10.
17.
2000.
Okay.
Oh,
10 or 17?
I would say November of 2017.
17.
Oh, 17.
Okay, that's different.
What is it?
1 year.
1 year.
So he was on your blood for a year.
Oh, I wonder what his induction ceremony was like. It took you. Who greenlit that? Who greenlit that? Who was like, you know what? This guy with the rainbow teeth, we need him to represent us. I blame the game. I blame the game. Okay.
So for a year, he was a witness to this.
We participated in a lot of crimes, robberies, assaults, drugs, sorts of that nature. Mr. Hernandez, you recognize anyone in the corporate was a member of the non-trade when you were a member? Yes.
It's about to get ugly now.
I wasn't in the room, so I'm glad he didn't recognize.
He's about to start. He's about to point motherfuckers out now. Like all you can do is imagine a motherfucker on the stand saying him, and him.
Wow.
Paul Elsie has a green suit. Luke Adjumai has the brown suit. The red motorcycle.
It's making my skin crawl, and I don't believe anyone should commit
Again. And we not saying snitching and being a witness to a crime is the same. Being a witness to a crime is someone who is a civilian, who's a working person.
This is crazy.
Who just mind their business and they witness a crime and they have to testify.
Keep it, let's keep it rolling.
Yes, the record reflects that Mr. Hernandez in sequence identified Mr. Ellison and Mr. Grant. Mr. Hernandez will turn back to 9-Trey in a minute. Before we do, I'd like to ask you some questions about your life before 9-Trey. Where'd you grow up? Raised in Bushwick, Brooklyn. Where'd you go to school? Elementary, I went to PS 59. From middle school, I went to Round Campus. And high school, time to high school. Yeah. Grocery store,
Okay, stop. Okay, this is terrible. I mean, he might as well just say, when I was a little kid, I used to, and then when I was 9, I wet my pants. And you know what he is? You know what he sounds like? We ever seen the Goonies?
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg. Remember Chunk, the little chubby kid? Mm-hmm. Right? And they were like, "You're gonna tell us everything," and the crooks were like, "We're gonna tell you."
And my mom, and
my mom, and the dad, and I went to bed, and I stole a piece of pizza, and I coughed, and I spit in my mom's drink and made her drink, and I laughed.
So I think that what the prosecutor's trying to do is trying to set up that he's an innocent kid that got caught up in something. So apparently he's setting up that he used to work at a grocery store.
Okay. I'm at a grocery store in Stay Fresh and Grow. I worked as a
Stay Fresh and Grow.
I did that about 2 years. went up to register. Shortly after that, I landed another busboy job. And then after that, became a rapper.
Did he say became rap?
Became a rapper.
Oh, became rapper.
So basically, right before he became a rapper, he was working at Stay Fresh and Grow.
Right.
He moved up to the cash register, and then he became a busboy, and then.
Okay, so basically.
Relatability.
He was being so basically he was fresh.
Everyday kid.
Right.
He was fresh. Was he a prince?
That's what they're trying to say. Trying to set him up as this innocent kid that got involved with the wrong.
Wait, is this his prosecutor? Is the prosecutor talking, or is his lawyer?
The prosecutor is his lawyer. If you turn state's evidence, bro.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
He's the guy you made the deal with,
right,
so he's going
right.
to try to hook you up right at this point.
Right.
You started a music career, is that right? Yes.
Pause. That was not music. Continue.
14.
And how did it come about?
Well, at the store I was working in, Stay Fresh and Grow.
Yeah, he said that already. Okay.
There's a guy under the name of
Stop.
Logic.
Wait, okay, they're drumming up his thing. Can we fast forward to like? He said Stay Fresh and Grow. He said he wanted to be a rapper.
Bro, be patient.
I was coming there by a tea, like a tilapia, stuff like that. He asked me if I make music and if I rap. And I was like, no.
So he snitched on a dude that he didn't have to snitch on. Like, really ain't get him in trouble, but he's just name a name. This guy named so-and-so came in the store and he used to buy tea and trumpets, and he asked me if I rap.
Trumpets.
And I said no.
And he was like, well, got the image for it, look good. I was like, I took me into consideration and started making music from Deli.
And this is around 2014?
Yes, sir. Like in 2014, like September.
So when you started making music around 2014, what type of music were you making?
It was more like a rock and roll rap.
Basically, he was doing trap rock.
He ripped off trap rock. He ripped off Ethan Spalding. So not only is he a snitch, but he also plagiarizes. Okay, trap rock in the building.
We only got 2 more minutes of this.
Okay.
Approximately how many records or songs did you release?
8, I believe around 8.
Pause. He can't count.
Go on any yours?
Yeah. Eastern Europe. I toured in Bratislava, Slovakia.
Bro, so
I
apparently.
didn't go on tour.
So before he was really Tekashi 6ix9ine,
Right.
he had like 8 songs out, and he went on tour to the Eastern Bloc, Slovakia, all this.
Hey, Eastern Europe needs love too, so you know.
Slovakia. Prague, Czech Republic.
He's well cultured. Oh God, what's that? Stop.
That's the feedback. Somebody's in the fucking courtroom that's not supposed to be recording this shit. So apparently, so you know, I don't know if you ever been to court. They be like, cut your cell phones off, blah blah blah.
I'm at a traffic court.
So play it again.
Czech Republic.
You can
So
hear,
they got.
yeah, you can hear the dude say, "God damn."
Yeah,
Let's hear it again.
You know what that sounds like? It sounds like when I watch Ghost Adventures and they trying to get the ghost noises and like, tell us something. And the ghost like,
St. Petersburg, Russia, and Moscow. I mean, for all those shows, I made about like $2,000 profit. I did it just for the experience.
He only made $2,000.
well, that's actually tax up. I understand that. That you don't make a lot of money in music.
We know that, but he toured to Eastern Bloc. He should have got more than that.
Oh, absolutely. He got. So he's. well, maybe when he saw it, he was like, man, I got $2,000. Like, if he had finished the 10th or 11th grade, he'd know that wasn't a lot of money. I'm just saying. Hey, he was near the Ukraine, so maybe he got fired from Joe Biden.
How many times the type of music that you recorded changed?
Yes.
Approximately when did that happen?
Around it changed in September of 2017.
That's when he became a blood.
Oh, okay.
Directing your attention to September 2017. Is there a time when you filmed a music video in Brooklyn?
Yes, sir.
Where?
Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, on Madison, between Tompkins Avenue.
Bruh!
He didn't ask for all that information.
Bruh!
It's like Knxledge.
Bruh, he just talking.
He just talking.
Remember the address?
I believe I want to say it's 370 Madison.
Dang!
Bruh!
I don't remember the address to my last house. Like,
He couldn't remember what grade he stopped at, but he remembered an address.
yeah.
Bruh, so that address is Exhibit A.
Is there any did you see updated in 02?
Yes,
What is that?
370 Madison.
Is that a photograph of 370 Madison?
Yes, sir.
You're really active in here, you're 370 Madison.
Yes, sir.
You're on government office, government exhibit 202. Any objection?
None, Your Honor.
Is it public, Your Honor? Yes.
That's
What?
it. We don't need to listen no more.
Okay. Let's assume that he actually is a rapper. First of all, keeping it real, like you were under so much pressure, and you live this gangster life. I have a problem with anybody who is in the limelight who does not fully comprehend really the blessing that they have, nor that I like their music or not,
Right.
to be able to entertain people. Then, for you to be involved in all of this real nigga shit, to turn out to that, I don't know what's going on in his head, but this is where the problem starts.
And
You
listen,
do tattoos on your face. I don't know what's going on.
he's not the first rapper.
No, he's not.
The first entertainer. No, let me click me out. The first entertainer to be financed by gangsters.
Oh, absolutely not.
All right.
Go back to Frank Sinatra.
You ain't hear Frank Sinatra out here talking about Blicky with the sticky. You ain't hear that. You ain't hear old Blue Eyes saying that. He's stuck in his lane. He sang to the bitches. All right. He drank a little motherfucking whiskey. Him and his boys. They tap danced with him and Sammy. And they did. They chased bitches. That's what they did. And they got money. And he died a legend. All right. And he had mob money behind him.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like in Jupiter and Mars. Bitch!
Bro, you don't gotta be a gangster just because you are financed by gangsters.
I think Eddie Griffin once said, he said the best, he doesn't believe in gangster rap because the first rule about being a gangster is don't snitch. Don't say nothing.
Right. So,
I don't know what's the conclusion. What's the moral of this story? What did we just listen to?
Moral of the story is be yourself, bro.
Oh, yes.
Be yourself. All these young rappers out here that's coming up, be yourself. You don't have to be a gangster, man. If you are smart, rap about being smart.
Yeah.
If you got bitches, rap about getting bitches, man.
Ladies.
Or ladies, man. But it's rap. But most of the time, it's gonna be bitches.
I ain't got no business.
So
on that note,
we wanna thank everybody for listening in to this episode 4 of our beloved podcast.
we've been getting some great positive feedback. I hope that we keep hearing comments from all of you. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I want to give a special shout out to my friend Sean Norris, who one of my friends came in from town
for a wedding, and her husband was like, "Why aren't you listening to your boy's podcast? That joint is hilarious." So I just want to say thank you, Sean. Congratulations.
Shout out, my dude. Did he subscribe?
Huh?
Did he subscribe?
If he hasn't, you better now, because I'm going to come after him. I'm coming after you, bro.
Listen up, everybody. Please subscribe to our podcast on YouTube.
Share it.
If you like it, share it.
And comment.
I mean, and we take feedback too. We've been getting some feedback, and we've been kind of like trying to incorporate our feedback into the next podcast.
We want to keep this thing going as long as we can.
Absolutely. So, we're going to end it like we always end it.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Barack Obama, the last president.
If you tired of motherfuckers talking shit to you on the motherfucking internet,
get off the internet and have a conversation
with these.
Well, you know, one thing I want to say real quick, we don't always agree, but we come to an agreement that I think would be more of a settling, positive back and forth than if I ever got on my phone and started thumb-thugging.
Right.
Keep it real, y'all.
Keep it real.
If you're tired of arguing with strangers on the internet, try talking with one of them in real life.